everybody. Welcome back. Another episode of Post-Fades Cheesesteaks coming off an Eagles bye. So no Eagles discussion today. I mean, I think the only thing we can say about the Birds is safe to say they are, I'd say, the number one team in the league still after that crazy weekend. But yeah, I mean, there was a lot of weird games where like it looked like a team was gonna get blown out, and then they came back.
A lot of last minute games. I think there was like 4 or 5 games that ended on a walk-off field goal.
I will tell you, I think because I had only had half a cup of coffee when I was placing my Sunday parlays, and I wasn't thinking straight. And I normally do like money line bets on games. I'll when we do our game picks, I'll pick like those games.
Mm-hmm.
And for whatever reason, I was doing all the spreads, and I meant to do money line. I just did all the spreads, and it almost worked. I hit on all 7. Well, I hit on 6 out of 7. You know which one didn't fucking hit?
Which one?
The Bengals.
Oh yeah. See, they didn't hit for me either. I gotta be honest. You know what? This is one of those weeks that, you know what, I've watched the Eagles. They're 8-1. I've been very disappointed in some games. Some things they do drive me nuts. And then you watch teams like the Bengals lose to a Texans team who suddenly is for real. Or
I think they're making wild card. I told you this.
I mean, like some top-notch teams. The Bengals, I think, are a good team. The Ravens gave up a game they should have never lost to a division rival.
Yeah.
That was tough. You had a big lead on your division rival, and you let one slip away. Yeah, it's just, this was a weird week. I mean, team like the Jaguars got destroyed. You know, they got put in their place. A week that made me like appreciate what the Eagles are actually doing. Appreciate the Eagles record. It's not looked pretty at all times, but listen, they are winning. Some of these other
you look around the league, they look a lot prettier than other teams now that you think about it. So
there were some ugly losses this weekend, some tough losses too.
Yeah. But we'll get into a couple of the ugly ones that are just no one cares about. We had the privilege of watching. Well, I don't know if you watched, but I watched Thursday Night Football, where a 1-7 Panthers team took on a 2-7 Bears team on national television. It was a terrible game. 16-13, the Bears won.
Not only did I watch it, I watched it the next day in the morning, like, because I had nothing else going on. I was like, I put it on, like, I hate myself. And then I watched it and I was like, I really just do not like my existence. I was like, oh, maybe there's some fantasy purposes. I looked at my teams. It's like, no, I'm not even playing anyone.
No.
Like, what am I actually
anyone
doing
on those teams? DJ Moore.
They need to make it a rule that they can start flexing national games from like week 3. You know, again, another national game that no one cared about: the Raiders versus the Jets. And I get the Jets are on national TV every other week because Rodgers got hurt, but like, come on now, we have to be able to flex these games. It always happens. There's a team that's very hyped up. It was the Broncos last year with Russell Wilson. They never meet expectations, or they have a big injury and just crushes their whole season. And then we're stuck watching them on national TV every week. The flex has to be allowed earlier. It's just brutal.
Yeah. Well, luckily we have, I would say 2 great matchups and then 1 like solid matchup. We have Thursday Night Football is Ravens and Bengals, I believe.
Bengals, yeah. Two team division rivals both need to come off a tough loss there. Yeah. That is going to be an interesting one.
Sunday night is, Broncos, but against the Vikings. So, Vikings, Josh Dobbs, must see TV.
The Broncos, dude, don't stop now. The Broncos are suddenly putting together. I mean, their offense is pretty rough. I mean, it's not easy to watch, but their defense is like very solid.
They've been keeping the opponents to low scores lately. Yeah, it's been decent.
I think what'd they give up? Like 16 or 20? I forget what the score was yesterday, but 22. Yeah, they were like 15 the 2 games before that. Like a 3-game win streak, and their defense is balling. I mean, the offense still leaves a lot to be desired. A lot of penalties. I watched that game, and a lot of penalties. Yeah. Russ is still not the Russ of old.
He's
better.
That, and then cap it off week 11 with yours truly, the Philadelphia Eagles, in a Super Bowl matchup. It's the Kansas City Chiefs on Monday Night Football. It'll be good.
Yeah, it'll be. I mean, we normally do a reactive instead of preview, but I think it only makes sense to have a little preview about this. What are your thoughts going into it?
I'm excited. I mean, both teams off of bye, so it'll be interesting. I mean, this isn't, it's when Andy Reid was the coach of the Eagles, they were what, 11-0 after byes. They lost like
Yeah,
once
that's
or
true.
twice in his entire Eagles coaching career after a bye week. But the Eagles needed the bye. Like Jalen needed for
Yeah.
some recovery. Like some of the other players have been banged up. So we'll see what happens. I mean, we're going to be without Goddard. We're going to be without Nakobe Dean, hard to evaluate him. Like it seems like the defense plays
Yeah.
better when he's in, but like he can't stay on the field. So,
He's awful in coverage, but at the same time,
I
like,
mean,
how does he grow when he can't play or get on the field?
yeah, I would say there's probably like 15% of linebackers in the league are actually good at coverage. So,
Yeah, it's true. I mean, he's
but
still a young guy. He's only what started like 2 games, because he didn't play at
yeah,
all last year,
yeah.
really. And this year, so the jury's still
But
out. I
it's
mean,
a good measuring stick for both teams, I think, because like I said this weeks ago, they're both very similar and like they're not playing to their full potential. I mean, the Chiefs, like their defense has actually been carrying them a little bit the last couple of weeks.
it's weird
Like
to see.
yeah, Mahomes has been kind of quiet. But they'll turn it up and then they'll obviously win the big games. But I mean, I would love for the Eagles to win here. I mean, if they lose a close game, I'm not too upset, but I would love a little payback for the Super Bowl. But
Yeah, of course. I mean, listen, I mean, we're both number one seeds again. Yeah, I'm not scared of anyone in the NFC.
no,
AFC, there's some good teams,
excuse me.
but I still think it's the Chiefs. It wouldn't surprise me if you had to make me pick a matchup. It wouldn't surprise me if it's us in the Super Bowl again. But that said, I mean, I'd love a win. You're 8-1. You're where you need to be. I'm also understand this tough stretch you're on. You have to expect to lose at least one or two. You already got 2 wins. You're going to play the Chiefs. You still got the Bills, the Cowboys again. But I mean, if they win, I'll give them a free pass. I'll leave them alone. I don't care how ugly the wins are. I'll leave them alone. I won't kill them anymore. I'll just sit back and appreciate them as long as they keep winning.
Oh well, if they beat the Chiefs, they are the definitive best team in the league. Like just
Oh
no,
yeah, I mean you can make an argument now for it, but it's just
yeah.
what I feel like we've been arguing and complaining about them so much, and they're 8-1. If they go and beat the Chiefs, I'll leave them alone.
Well,
I'll tell you right now, no
yeah,
issue, no
we won't
comments,
get we
no
won't get
mean critics.
too far ahead, but I do think I think this game is more important now for a win because I think the Bills could be they could be in desperation mode and like have to win against the Eagles the week after that. So
They also
um
kind of suck.
they
Bills are
yes,
not
they just
good.
fired their offensive coordinator. And Josh Allen is throwing to no man's land and
He is rough.
yeah, I don't know what they're doing, but we'll get to that game in a bit. We had a game was in Germany, the Colts and the
We
Patriots,
did, yeah.
10-6. Colts won. What a
That was
disgusting
another rough one. That was
performance.
another national TV rough game to watch.
That's almost close enough to be a soccer score.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, Patriots. I saw a stat. They in the 2.5 seasons since Brady's left the Patriots, they already have half as many losses now in those 2.5 seasons. Um, how do I phrase this? They have as many losses now as Brady did halfway through his career as a Patriot since he left.
Well, yeah, I mean,
That's
can't
he played.
surprise
He was
you.
there for like 20 years. That's crazy.
Well, I mean, there's probably like 3 year. It's probably like a 3 year span where he
Caleb
had
Williams is
8
looking.
losses.
They might have the number. Oh no, well the Bears have the Panthers pick and they only have one win, but they're like 2-8. They're right there.
Yeah, it's really
Um,
starting to. I mean, now that like the Texans look good. The Texans, honestly, I thought the Panthers would give us a little more of what the Texans are doing. Rookie quarterback, new coach. They're starting to figure it out, getting a little better as the season goes on.
mhm.
Panthers look awful. Their team stinks, but the Texans, man, are like incredible. But yeah, no, the Patriots stink. The Patriots. Who's your worst team in the NFL right now? I assume Panthers, or I think it's a 4-dog race: Bears, Patriots, Giants,
No Giant. No,
Panthers, or Bears.
I would
The
probably
Giants are
go.
rough.
I'd probably go Giants, Patriots, Panthers, Bears. Because I think the Panthers have they have a lot of young guys, there are a lot of injuries, like rookie quarterback, like they kind of get a pass. But
I mean, the
Giants were
Bears
just in the
did.
playoffs last year. They had coach of the year, like they have no excuses to be this
The Bears
garbage.
did beat the Panthers in the toilet bowl this Thursday.
Yeah, well, Patriots though they don't have a quarterback at any level, and yeah, they just look bad. But
They're rough.
um, yeah, no, another good game. Ravens lost to the Browns 33-31. I think Ravens were up 17-0, I think, at one point. And then Browns
Yeah,
came storming back. Lamar threw the pass that got tipped in the air, then it was taken back for a pick six, and that pretty much sealed the deal.
yeah. What's your thoughts on that? I mean, I thought the Ravens were much better than the Browns, but bigger blunder by the Ravens or more impressive by the Browns?
I mean, the Browns keep winning with mediocre quarterback play. So
I'm just gonna say Deshaun Watson seems to be a lot more injured now since I'm assuming he doesn't get massages anymore.
that's probably why,
Like
yeah.
the guy's like falling apart. Like it's the shoulder, the ankle. Like he probably is just like willing himself. Like he's like, God, I'm broken in half. All I
It's
need is a massage right now. But he's probably banned.
he's such a weird. I know in our top 10, I put him at 10 because I was giving him the benefit of the doubt. But like we've always when he was with the Houston, pre massage, whatever you want to call it, he was always like a really talented player, but like to be honest, he never really accomplished much. Like I think the Texans made to the playoffs maybe once or twice, but they didn't do any damage.
Well, I mean, he got hurt. They were terrible, and then I mean, as soon as he started getting going, then he got like all the whole lawsuit thing and everything.
Yeah, so it's been like he's had a weird career, and obviously he's not worth 200 million guaranteed dollars. But I think it's you look at the Browns, like their defense is so good right now that they are like helping win like this team get to
No, they're
they're
gonna win because their defense, not Deshaun Watson. I think it's wild that two of the best defenses went up against each other, and it was a 36-31 game.
yeah.
Who
I
saw that
mean,
one coming?
well, yeah. Well, I told you Browns is legit. I said in the preview of the season, I said the NFC or the AFC North is going to be the best division. They're going to have all teams over 500, and that's looking. I mean, Steelers are fraudulent, but you know
Yeah. Well, listen, I was bought
hey,
in
wins
on
are
them.
wins. But
Yeah.
speaking of them, they beat the Packers 23-19. I don't know what Jordan Love's stats are, but I'm starting to believe that he is not the guy.
It's really weird. The whole thing. I mean, the line sucks. Aaron Jones is pretty rough this year. Christian
Yeah.
Watson, I think he was fun for a rookie year. Now he
Uh,
stinks. Jordan Love, yeah, I don't know what that team's in trouble.
it's Jordan Love's contract year, so I mean they can walk away from him. So we'll see what
I mean,
happens.
if you do, what's the backup plan?
Yeah, we'll see. Um 49ers beat the Jags 34-3. It was a pummeling. I mean, this was due. Like the 49ers lost three straight. They were gonna get back on the winning side, but yeah, I didn't expect the Jags to just lay an egg. But
I didn't think that. I mean, sure, the Niners, I thought were going to win. I didn't think they were just going to go and destroy the Jaguars like that.
you said the Jags were gonna win, so I don't know.
Oh well, times have changed.
Okay. Uh, Josh Dobbs led the Vikings on a comeback, beat the Saints 27-19. So it's a nice little story we got here.
I'm all for it. I'm all for Josh Dobbs. I love it.
I
He had
hated the
a
Vikings before because of the whole I mean I wouldn't say hate, but I had the distaste because of the whole like when they had that playoff game against the Saints and Stephon Diggs had that crazy catch. We had to watch that for like 3 years in a row. And then the Eagles
how could
stomped the
wait.
yard.
How could you possibly hate that? That was like one of my favorite plays
Oh,
because I remember thinking I did not want to play the Saints in the NFC Championship game. We got the
well,
Vikings instead. That was awesome. How can you hate the Vikings?
true,
We
true.
crushed them on the way to the Super Bowl. They are insane entertainment. Going back to what I said, what team loses their starting quarterback and is riding a hot streak like this after trading for unknown journeyman? Like the Vikings are just guaranteed entertainment.
Yeah, must see TV. That's like you said.
Look, Kirk Cousins is out. Justin Jefferson is out. Suddenly, Josh Dobbs is out here balling, winning close games.
That's true. I forgot Jefferson's been out this whole time.
It's
So
really
funny.
an exciting team. They're really a ton of fun to watch.
Yeah. Another thing that's pretty fun to watch: the Texans beat the Bengals 30-27. I really thought the Bengals had it, and then
They tied it.
right at the end, and then Texans said, and they kicked the game-winning field goal. So
CJ Stroud, man, he's playing well, but it's really it's the whole team is playing really well.
they are, and he's in the MVP conversation, I would argue.
How concerned should the Jaguars be with the Texans for the division? I think we wrote off the whole AFC South besides the Jags, like in the beginning of the season, and just thought this was going to be the Jaguars.
I mean, they're
division,
only a game behind, but I
they're
think
they're getting better each week.
I don't know what the Jags' future schedule is like, but I think they'll get enough wins to hold on to the lead. Texans are due for a loss here and there, so I think they'll be fine. But I think Texans, I mean, it's going to be competitive, but I think Texans will compete for, like, maybe it'll come down to the last week of the season, but I think they could get into the wild card.
I mean, the thing with the Texans though is they're so young, new coach, new quarterback. They're going to keep getting better. Jaguars and Texans actually play not this week, the following week, which could be a huge game.
Oh, it is huge.
Obviously, and the Texans, to be fair, the Texans beat the Jaguars already. If the Texans knock them off again, they'll have the season sweep.
Oh, if the Texans beat them to go 2-0 in the series, then yeah, that's a wrap for the Jags. But
this one's in Houston as well. You already went to Jacksonville and beat them. I don't write off the Texans. I think they have a path to the division. Especially, I mean, this loss to the Niners makes you raise an eyebrow at how good the Jags actually are.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Jags caught, the worst opponent they could face, a team that's supposed to be a Super Bowl contender off 3 straight losses. But yeah, I agree. They still shouldn't have gotten their ass beat. Speaking of getting your ass beat, the Bucs beat the Titans 20-6. I mean, someone's got to win the NFC North, so I guess it's going to be the Bucs.
Yeah, man.
The NFC South. Yeah,
yeah, that's about all you can really say about it. I had no idea what happened. Mike Evans had a good game. That's about it. I couldn't tell you much outside of that.
Yeah. I didn't get to watch this game, but apparently it was a thriller. The Lions beat the Chargers 41-38.
I did watch this.
Chargers are like 4-5. They're terrible.
They do stink. I mean, this is nothing different. Like, this is the same narrative. They're such a good team on paper. Justin Herbert gets hurt, plays through injury. He's awesome. And they keep losing. Again, it sounded like a Detroit Lions home game because the Chargers don't have fans. But Keenan Allen, and Amon St. Brown going at it. There was impressive.
Keenan's having like a renaissance this year. He's like top 5 in a lot of categories. So
he had a hell of a game. I mean, in a losing effort, which sucks, but very nice game from Keenan Allen.
And Amon St. Brown's had 6 games where he's had over 100 yards, and he hasn't even played the full season so far. Like, he hasn't played all 11 weeks.
The Lions look like. I mean, I'm not. The Lions are good. They'll make noise in the
They're
NFC,
like a tier or 2 right below the Eagles, but they're definitely making the playoffs. They're definitely gonna give a team some trouble.
My thing with the Lions is this offense was this good last year. I mean, they're better this year, but their offense was good last year. It's the fact that their defense couldn't stop anyone. And they are better, don't get me wrong, but they couldn't be worse. But they just still did give up 38 points to a Chargers team who's not terrible, but nothing impressive. I know they scored 41, but you gave up 38. That's something to be concerned about with the Lions. We'll see.
I think their offensive line is better than we give credit to because they have I saw that their current running back tandem of Montgomery and Gibbs has more yards and more touchdowns than Jamal Williams and DeAndre Swift currently have. So,
their offensive line is great. I mean, I don't think anyone was sleeping on them that much. Penny Sale's great. Ragnar's really good. Decker's really good.
He had a little bit of growing pains his rookie year, but now he's come on. He's been
he's a beast. It's actually, there's a couple of like performances I get every once in a while in a losing effort. Like Keenan Allen, let's just acknowledge 11 receptions for 175 yards and 2 touchdowns.
He's pretty good.
I mean, he won't make the stud list.
Your boy Mike Evans had a nice game too, I'm pretty sure.
I know he did. That's what I mean. I knew nothing about that game besides he had a nice game.
Yeah. But elsewhere, Kyler Murray made his season debut from injury, beat the Falcons 25-23. The battle of the Dirty Birds, I guess, but they're both crap, so who cares? Cowboys beat down on the Giants, and now everyone's talking like the Cowboys are going to go to the Super Bowl once again because they beat a
Classic.
2-7 team. Not much to add to that. I mean, they did what they should have. Giants are,
Rough.
ugh. I'm almost at the point of like feeling bad for the fans. Like,
No, we're not. No, we're not. We're never at that point.
the Seahawks beat the Commanders 29-26. Two very similar teams, very scrappy teams. Did you know that what's his name? Sam Howell leads the league in passing yards?
I did not actually.
Isn't that wild?
He's not a bad quarterback. I mean, he has his moments.
They've
I
been
don't
doing
think he's the
okay,
reason they're
yeah.
losing. The
Well,
defense sucks.
yeah, the defense. I mean, that's not when you trade away two of your best players, but they weren't playing
Well, I
well.
mean, I think the reason you trade away two of your best players is because you stink and you know you're not going anywhere. But to each your own.
We had a thriller on Sunday Night Football. The Raiders beat the Jets 16-12.
Dude, I don't feel bad about it for the Giants at all. The Jets, I do feel bad. I feel bad for those fans. Like, I can't stand Aaron Rodgers. I don't think he would have made this team a Super Bowl contender.
No,
maybe just being capable of scoring a touchdown and with that defense, sure. But this offense has other holes than Zach Wilson. But man, they are rough to watch.
Yeah,
They haven't scored a touchdown in 2 games.
Yeah,
they are rough.
I think I saw a replay of a play where it might have been a 4th down or something, but Zach Wilson was trying to make a throw and he threw to Alan Lazard, and Alan Lazard couldn't handle it. He couldn't handle it.
He's so bad. Alan Lazard is so bad.
Oh, I was like, oop, another drop.
You just think like, dude, you stink. You are so bad. You're so lucky that Aaron Rodgers is boys with you. Even Randall Cobb, I don't think he was suited up. Like, there's not really anyone else that's decent on this team outside of Garrett Wilson, and he can't even get on the field. Yeah. They stink. It's not just, I mean, Wilson stinks, but like, the running backs have been okay. The offensive line hasn't been very good. There's no wide receiver on this team besides Garrett Wilson. You got guys like Alan Lazard that need to make plays. They clearly can't. They just stink.
Yeah. I don't know. And then the Monday night game was the Bills and the Broncos. And the Bills got down the field, scored a touchdown, looked like they were going to win the game. And then the Broncos went down the field, kicked a field goal. Oh, there was a penalty, pass interference. Then they kicked a field goal missed. But oh, look, another flag. Bills had 12 men on the field. I wonder who the 12th guy was that wasn't supposed to be on. He's probably just not having a good time.
Thing. So from what I've heard is DeMar Hamlin was the 12th man on the field who was put into action. Like, how quickly that narrative changes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, it was not good. Not good at all. So they lost after redoing the kick. But, I mean, look, like you said, the Denver's weird. Like, they look terrible and then they look okay. And Russ is definitely not the Russ of old. But that throw he made to Cortland Sutton and the catch by Cortland Sutton,
was nice.
Both were incredible. Like, that throw was on the catch was money.
Yeah, I mean the timing of that catch was I don't know how he pulled that off. The problem with Russ is like he's so like careful and so just like plays within a shell almost. Like, I'm used to seeing Russell Wilson run around, escape the pocket, scamper around, do the scramble drill. Too many times I saw Russell Wilson like, you see him think he's going to do that scramble mode, and then he just kind of takes off. But he's not taking off to get any big runs. Like, there would be like 3rd and 10. And here he is running outside the pocket and just taking off and sliding 4 yards later. Like, there was too many times where I just saw him run, pick up a couple yards and slide. Like, there was no interest even trying something. But he just doesn't stand back there and look to push it down the field. That was the biggest thing I saw from Russell Wilson that's different than him previously. He doesn't have that scramble ability. There's no scramble drill in him anymore.
Yeah. I mean, he's old now, so
still, that was what made him great. If he truly can't do that anymore, this is not the player that they thought he was going to be. But
that's a wrap on week 10. God, we're already more than halfway through the season. It's got to slow down. I mean, we're close to Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving's next week. Holy shit.
It is. Your birthday's coming up, isn't it?
Time is flying. Yeah, my birthday's next. I don't even know what day. Wednesday. I think next Wednesday.
31?
Well, look, calm down. Just turning
Yeah.
30.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't feel. I don't feel 30. I mean, my shoulder. Something's wrong with my shoulder lately. But besides that, I'm not too bad.
Oh boy, yeah, we're into that third decade. You have
Funny
to let
enough,
me know how it
that's
is.
the good old nerve damage shoulder from high school. So maybe
Oh,
the nerve damage is
that
finally taking its toll.
that stinger that's been lasting a decade.
The double stinger in the same
Yeah,
practice. Yeah.
the decade long stinger. Oh, I mean, once you hit your 30s, you can just expect your shoulder to fall off, I guess.
Well,
Let's
anyways,
see.
studs and duds.
Uh,
How we looking?
you feeling good or you feeling rough? Because we just talked about how 30, you're being
Yeah,
old.
I'm gonna start 30. Let's start with the rough first, and then like finish on a good note for me.
Fair enough. That's a smart way to finish. All right. This one I'm gonna go with. This one is more than just one person, but I think it needs to be said. And this is the guy who's making the most noise in the wrong way. Going with a defensive player for a team that just collapsed defensively. And it's a shame because their young quarterback actually looked really good, drove the field, scored late. And everyone, I think the conversation was happening with everyone at the same moment. Like, damn, Sam Howell might actually be pretty good. He just went and had a big play and everything. And then the Seahawks went and marched down the field. The Commanders defense did literally nothing. And then everyone forgot that Sam Howell did anything. Just like you were saying, Sam Howell is top leading the league in receiving yards or whatever. You wouldn't know because they never win games because their defense is so bad.
Well, passing yards, he's not playing wide receiver, but yeah, same thing.
Well, yeah, that too. Yeah, that too. So I'm going to go with, as our third dud this week, we're going with Jonathan Allen, a guy who should be the leader of this defense, who just, I think it was a week or two ago, went on a huge rant of how tired he was, how pissed off he was with all this, BS, blah, 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 lots of beeps, lots of sounds. But then, like, dude, I mean, I get it. You had 4 tackles and a sack, really, nothing super impressive. But if you're going to go off on a tangent and complain and bitch and moan, you'd expect something different. But the defense still sucks. They traded away their players because they know they suck. Yeah. And you really had a moment. You really had a good opportunity here to win a good game. You just had to seal the deal for your young quarterback, and you didn't do it. So I'm going to go with the leader of this defense. As a unit stinks, but when you're hooting and hollering, you're putting the target on your back, you better show up. And that whole drive, none of them showed up. So we're going with Jonathan Allen representing the entire Commanders defense.
Wow.
Moving on. We'll go to another team that had a disappointing loss, but in a different fashion. Team that did not show up at all. A team we thought was a playoff. Oh, I guess they're still a playoff contender. I'm not going to get ahead of myself, but now there's questions about them winning the division that everyone penciled in for them before the season started. Are they really a Super Bowl contender? Because they went up against a Super Bowl contender and had their ass handed to them. So putting up 3 meaningless points in a 34-3 beatdown in a quarterback that I think is starting to, the luster and the glitter is starting to really wax off when he doesn't show up in these big games, with a disgusting 17-29 stat line, 185 yards and 2 interceptions with no touchdowns to go along with it. And a fumble nonetheless. So 3 turnovers in a game you just got crushed in. We're going to go with Trevor Lawrence.
He's been very up and down this year. I was hoping for a bigger jump.
No consistency in his game.
No.
He's you know what? He's got that Josh Allen recklessness to him.
Yeah.
Like he's the only other quarterback I think that has a 2 interception fumble kind of game like that. Because even the bad ones, I mean, even like Zach Wilson and Mac Jones, their team's not going to let him throw it that amount of times to have 3 turnovers like that. But yeah, we're going to go with Trevor Lawrence here in a really rough game. And I had to think one of probably his worst game of his career, I would say.
Not a good look, no.
Moving on to our number 1 dud, and this is actually a special dud because this is a first time for this special occasion. But in this situation, it's so needed. I'm actually going to go with an entire team as our number 1 dud. So, I mean, where do you want to start? We could start with the fact that you lost. We could start with the fact that you lost on a game-ending field goal that the team had missed just prior, but you had 12 men on the field. Or we could go to the fact that they were in field goal position because you had a pass interference, a play before that. Or we can go into the fact that your quarterback is a turnover machine who had 2 interceptions. Or how about the fact that your starting running back had 2 fumbles? Hell, your starting quarterback had a fumble himself. He's Mr. Trevor Lawrence, had 3 turnovers as well.
Hmm.
The fact that Gabe Davis and Dalton Kincaid both had passes hit their hands and dropped. Let's go to the fact that you just fired your offensive coordinator, or the fact that your superstar wide receiver's brother is going on social media saying to get him off the team now. I like the fall that the Buffalo Bills had in 1 week is insane. Even
Not
their
good.
feel-good story. I mean, even their feel-good story, DeMar Hamlin is starting to lose its luster. Like the Broncos had so many penalties and so many bad moments too, and they didn't capitalize on those turnovers, and yet the Bills still somehow ended up losing. This was a top to bottom, just brutal game. The turnovers on offense, the horrible coaching, the disgusting penalties to give them the game. It really is tough to bring back. And it doesn't look the Bills are going to turn this around at any moment. So in the first time ever, we're going to go with the entire Buffalo Bills team. I got a question for you. McDermott,
Yeah.
how hot's his seat?
I mean, it's got to be getting a little toasty. I
They
mean, he's
fired the
had.
offensive coordinator. So
I mean, I'm obviously big McDermott fan, former Eagles coach. I'm happy he's got a good team, but like, got to get some results, and they have not delivered lately. And they have a really good roster. I mean, they've had some injuries, and Josh Allen's played a lot of inconsistent ball, but you got to win games, man. You got a top 5 wide receiver, top 5 quarterback when he plays well, good defense, Hall of Famer Von Miller.
yeah, I mean, he hasn't really done much. I haven't seen him do
No,
much at
well,
all.
I mean, coming off that
Is the
knee
win?
injury, so
I got to be honest. I think the window may have closed on the Bills. The AFC's catching up. There's a lot of other good teams. The Bills look rough. This doesn't look like they're just going to figure it out. I don't think Ken Dorsey getting fired is going to help Josh Allen stop from turning over the ball. The drama is getting worse. The noise in the locker room. They're finding ways to lose. Once you have a team that's
if
finding ways to lose, you're in trouble.
I think if they miss the playoffs, I think McDermott could definitely be in jeopardy of getting fired. If they make the playoffs, I think he'll be fine. But then the coming up year next year, he'll definitely be like, you got to get to like the AFC Championship game, or we're gonna move on, type of thing.
Listen, the
So
window's closing. I mean, there's gonna be a look in the mirror
I
like,
mean, as long as they have
our
Josh Allen,
windows.
they'll be in contention. But can they
Yeah,
get
by
to the
contention,
big
yeah, they look
game?
like they're going down, and maybe they look in the mirror and they're like, "Yo, listen, we have a window here." Diggs is already pissed off. On Miller, like you said, on his last leg. The secondaries on their last leg. We
I
got to
mean,
make a
I'd
big
argue
jump
if Von
for
Miller
it.
didn't get hurt last year, they might have won and might have
Oh
gone
yeah,
deeper in the
I would agree
playoffs.
with
So
that, but
bad luck,
shoulda,
but
coulda, woulda.
hey, yeah.
All
All
right,
right.
moving on to the studs. We're going to go right back to that game we had just talked about between the Jaguars and Niners. And, it's like a yin and yang kind of thing. When Trevor Lawrence gets on the dead list because he has a horrific performance where he only puts up 3 points, you'd expect one of the defensive players from the Niners to show up. I'm going to go with the leader. It's kind of like I did with John Allen. You got to give credit to the leader. He had a nice game too. He had sack and a half, 2 quarterback hits, tackle for loss. But I mean, the team runs through him. He's making everyone look good. Chase Young looked great out there. Hargrave had a sack and a half. Easy to play around when you got Nick Bosa on the other side. So really a team defense win here, but you got to give credit to the leader. He had a good game. They crushed a team that everyone thought would be a Super Bowl contender. I'm going to go with Nick Bosa as my first stud here.
Yeah, I think the Commanders' front office should be charged for jail time for giving the 49ers Chase Young. It's
I
ridiculous.
don't know. That was such a bad trade. I couldn't believe it. But I wish the Eagles
I
won
mean,
it. But what
contract
are you gonna
year,
do?
so but I still.
Who cares? He balls out. You get him a franchise tag. You get another year out of the guy. Do you know what DNs are going for? All right, moving on. This one was actually one of the best games this week. An absolute shootout we had talked about already. And there was one guy who really put up. He's honestly put his name in the conversation. I think he's doesn't get enough credit, but he's probably easy top 10. We'll see how the year shakes out with guys like Adams and looking bad. Jefferson got hurt, but we're gonna go with Amon St. Brown, who put up 8 receptions, 156 and a tutty.
He's a
And
baller.
he looked real good, and that offense runs through him. He is the Stephon Diggs, Tyreek Hill type of player to that offense, and
Yeah,
he's putting his name out there. He deserves some of that respect.
I think I had him in like a 10 or number 9 this year in our wide receiver rankings. So he's He's
Hey, there's a
climbing.
couple of big names that are going the wrong way, and he's climbing. He's
Mhm.
kind of part of that next generation right there.
And who's number one?
Moving on to my number one stud, and I got to say this one I think is out of left field completely. It still feels weird that he's even number one stud on this list, but
Oh,
huge win. I mean, this has got to be the best win that this franchise has seen in years, knocking off a true Super Bowl contender in a game that really I don't think anyone real saw this coming at all. CJ Stroud played well. He's a young quarterback. He put up 356 a tutty, but listen, man, Devin Singletary ran the ball 30 times, had 150 yards and a touchdown. When do you see a running back of 30 carries anymore? Like, honestly, let alone doing it at a 5 yard per carry clip. Like, that is insane. And listen, maybe Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb, Jonathan Taylor, maybe those guys get 30 carries. Devin Singletary is not who I thought would be getting 30 carries in a game that, they went and scored 30 points against a very solid defense. And it helps CJ Stroud when you got a guy going for 150 at 5 yards a clip. So my number one stud this week is Devin Singletary.
yeah. I did not know. Not expect him to be, making a difference on that team at this point. But
Shocking, really, but teach you, man. Noah Brown 172 yards too. It's just a
that
weird. Listen,
they're balling. Just lighting it up.
hey, that's what happens when you breathe new life into a franchise with a quarterback that can make the plays and a coach that they're buying into.
Yeah. Well, it's a good list.
Always is.
So moving on, we will do our power rankings. So like I said, I think number 1 and 2, pretty clear cut, Eagles and Chiefs, right?
Yeah.
But after that, it's free range. I would put the Lions at 3.
Okay. I mean, listen, I don't hate it. I was thinking the Niners or the Lions.
I'd say Lions at 3, 49ers at 4.
Okay.
And then we had them at 3, so I'm just gonna drop them back in a close loss of Ravens at 5 because they're still really good.
I think that's fine. Do you put the Browns right after them at 6?
I had Dallas at 6, then the Browns at 7.
Fine. I won't fight you on that.
And then Miami at 8. They're still good.
They might be frauds, but yeah, I can live with it.
Yeah. Jags dropping to 9.
No, get them out of there. They're not top 10. I'd rather the Texans over the Jags.
All right. Well, then it would be Cincinnati at 9, Texans at 10.
No, it's too close. They just beat them. Switch them.
Texans at 9, cracking the top 10.
I mean, they knocked off a top 10 team. What do you expect?
Wow.
They're looking good. They're a team on the rise. You can't have 9 and 10 be the teams that just played each other. I almost felt weird putting the Ravens ahead of the Browns.
I mean, yeah, but you gotta look at like who's actually, the better team when all's said and done. So,
Man, Texans are heating up.
anyways, someone who's not heating up is you. Someone who's been heating up is me for game picks. Let me tell you. I don't know if we've ever had anyone do this well. I'm kind of giddy. I went hold on, where'd it go? I went, if I can find it. What the fuck, I just did this.
That's what happens when you get too giddy. You get all excited and all worked up and you start clicking things.
On 12 and 2.
No, geez,
Bengals and the Bills, my only 2 losses this week.
Yeah.
You, on the other hand, 5 and 9. What happened?
Yeesh. Yeah, I don't.
You were a little ball. I mean, some of the games were toss ups. I'll give you that, but you're a little ballsy this week.
Yeah, I think I learned my lesson here. Don't go too far out. Yeah, that's what happens. We get cute and yeesh, 5-0, man. I think I'd be better off if you didn't tell me that.
And then we had Bede was our Chris was our guest picker. He did 8 and 6, respectable. It's respectable. But he does push the guest picks now ahead of you, so they're in second, and you're now in third place.
This is what happens. Well, this is what happens when you have there was no need for this. I'm so mad at myself. I had a nice lead, and I just
you did
getting out there and just being cute with stupid stuff. Like I don't know why. I know that I shouldn't pick them.
You now sit 92 and 58 on the season, still very respectable.
Okay.
Guest picks are 93-57, so you're only a game behind.
Oh, they're right there. Okay.
But I got a bit of a lead on you, 101 and 49. So
okay.
8 game lead. I got an 8 game lead.
That's all right. We'll fight back.
Okay. We'll see. Well, let's kick it off then. First game, like we said, Thursday night, got Bengals at the Ravens. Both teams coming off, last second losses. This is tough in Baltimore.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. This one's a complete toss up. Um, I'm gonna go with real bad game. You know what? I'll say that Baltimore wins this.
All right.
I think the Bengals are still trying to figure themselves out. Baltimore's been the better team all year. I think when the chips are down at home, they show up.
I was gonna just pick whoever you didn't pick, so I'm gonna go with Cincinnati because it's like you said, it's a coin flip. So
Yeah, I could go either way.
um, then we got no more overseas games. It looks like starting off at 1 p.m. Eastern time this Sunday. Got Steelers and the Browns. Oh, I wonder. Oh no, it's the only. It's interesting that there's those two divisions have straight matchups, but um, yeah, I'm gonna go Browns at home. I mean, Steelers are the weird team. Like they're winning, but don't feel any confidence in them. But
Yeah, I mean the Browns are tricky because Watson's like hurt again, but he
yeah,
seems like he's probably going to play. Yeah, I think the Steelers are going to struggle a lot to score against this Browns defense, so I'll take the Browns.
all right. Next game, Raiders at the Dolphins.
Yeah,
Raiders,
the Dolphins are
Raiders
going to
are
no.
Raiders kind of hot.
Go ahead, yeah, go ahead, pick them, pick them.
Off a bye, nah, Dolphins are
Oh, that's what it was. The bye through. Yeah, that's
yeah,
the deal
yeah.
breaker. I'll take Miami.
Lions at the Bears. I will take the Lions at home.
Shoosh, that's gonna get ugly. I'll take the Lions.
Titans at the Jaguars. This looks like a trap game, but I'm taking the
No,
Jags.
no, no, this is my trademarked get right game. The Jaguars need to come back.
Trademarked.
They need to beat up on a division rival. No, Jags.
Chargers at the Packers.
Oh, jeez. Those are like the same teams. They both have like talent, but they stink. Oh, no, really. That's ugly. I guess I'll take the Chargers. I mean, they're going to Green Bay, but it's not like the Chargers have a home field advantage anyway. The Packers, I just don't think can score. The Chargers, I guess, can at least score.
I could see the Packers squeaking out a win here, but I'm not gonna risk it on this. I'll take Chargers. Cardinals and the Texans.
I'm gonna take the Texans. I'm riding with the bandwagon.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Texans too. I could see Kyler Murray playing well again. I mean, I won't say he played well, but he played well enough to win. So, um, Cowboys at the Panthers. Boy,
No, jeez, here we
I would
go.
love for the Panthers to upset the Cowboys, but
Yeah, but you know what it's going to be? The Cowboys are going to smash them by 40, and now everyone's going to be on the Super Bowl hype up until the Eagles beat them again. No, but cue the cow. I guess we're still in week 10, so the Super Bowl hype for the Cowboys is still alive and well. Give them a couple more weeks and it'll fall apart, but they'll smash
yeah,
the Panthers just like they did the Giants because they love running up the score on bad teams.
yeah. I'm also taking Dallas there. Um, Giants at the Commanders. I'm gonna take the
Yeesh.
Commanders.
Yeah, I don't think I pick the Giants against the high school football team. So they suck so much.
Next game, Bucks at the 49ers. Hmm. You
No, I learned my
know,
lesson. I'm not getting cute with it. I'm taking San Fran at home.
yeah, I'm taking the 49ers. I bet it against them the last 3 weeks and I've been right. Well, except I picked them to win this last game, but I was picking them to lose. I picked them to lose against the Vikings and then it was the Browns before that. So I can't keep rolling the dice like that. So I'll take the 49ers here. Jets at the Bills. Is it weird that I'm not confident in just saying the Bills outright?
I was actually thinking the same thing. This smells like a Josh Allen 4 turnover kind of day. The Jets defense looks really good. Josh Allen looks so
Yeah,
bad. I
yeah.
mean, they like this just reeks of Josh Allen is going to throw so many interceptions. But you know what the problem is? I would take the Jets, but they just can't score touchdowns. Like they're just allergic to it. I think that the Josh Allen's probably going to have 3 turnovers, but they're still going to win. The Jets can't score. I'll take the Bills. They have to win this game. They have to.
Yeah. I'm taking the Bills as well. Seahawks at the Rams. Maybe Carson Wentz plays, you know?
I think they cleared Stafford, if I remember seeing. They're coming off the bye. I
Doesn't
actually like them
matter.
at home.
Oh,
The Rams are a feisty team. I'll take the Rams.
okay. I was gonna say I'm taking Seattle here. Um, Vikings at the Broncos. Must see TV. I'm gonna stick with Josh Dobbs.
That's a fun little matchup.
Hmm. Do you think the Dobbs
You
train ends
know,
here?
I don't think it ends. I think it's going to hit a little snag. I mean, the
Okay.
Broncos defense looks great.
Yeah.
15 points the last 2 games. They give Josh Allen fits. Josh Allen's still figuring his thing out. I like his story. I like the momentum, but let's not get crazy. He's still okay quarterback. But I think the Broncos defense shows up again and they win this. They're feeling themselves. They're going on national TV. I think they pull this one off.
Okay. I was gonna do coin flip on that one as well, so I will take Minnesota Vikings. And last but not least, Monday Night Football. Eagles at the Chiefs. I mean, go Birds, baby. Taking the Eagles.
Well, I mean, you picked against them in the Super Bowl. I'm surprised you're not going to pick against them in this game.
Well, I was picking with my brain, not my heart, but I'm picking with my brain this time. Well, again,
It's even worse.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was a terrible explanation, but
I've stuck with them through thick and thin, unlike you. So go Birds.
wow. Who's on top right now? Me or you? Well, we know the answer to that one. So
Nice. Buy me dinner first.
okay. All right. Well, that's a wrap on week 11 game picks. So we're getting there. Almost we're halfway through November already. Crazy. But we'll have a episode next week. So we'll see everyone then, and hopefully we get the game we want. Eagles Chiefs on Monday night. So nice to have some good primetime games.
It's true. And this time next week, you'll be 30. You'll probably have an ulcer, or, broken back, shoulder falling off, hemorrhoids.
All right. We just had to end it on a dud.
Don't Dakota at 30, dud.
Yeah, put me on the dud list. Alrighty.
Till next time.
Peace out.
Peace.
Thank you again for listening to the Post-Fades and Cheesesteaks Sports Podcast. Please like, follow, and subscribe on all your major platforms. Follow us on YouTube. Follow the show on Spotify and Apple. And follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Have a great day, and tune in next week.